This clip here is what we're very much used to seeing. We're used to seeing the interviewer speak, right? And his audio is right below, and then the B-roll gets filled in with a cut place here and here for the video and the audio track. And each and every single time there's B-roll cut in over the interview, the audio for that B-roll matches straight across. And so you end up with getting something like this. Here's a B-roll shot, and then you're going to hear audio, and then we're going to go right back to that B-roll again. Ready?
As a combat cameraman, I was deployed attached to Special Operations Joint Task Force. For them, I would embed with units and film what was happening on the battlefield. I would help out with other things like taking sensitive site.
All right, so you very much hear every time that B-roll comes up, it changes with the next B-roll shot, right? And this is fine if you're just doing news cutting, but the problem is we don't hear anything behind this person's voice. So we're not leading. The audio is not leading the project and being woven together to make it feel more realistic. Also, there's no music going on, right? And sometimes when you're editing, especially with different clips of video taken from a single interview, sometimes there's cuts in between, and I'll give you a little quick example here. Sometimes you have a cut here, and sometimes in between that cut, there might be a little pop of sound or something like that. And we can eliminate that pop of sound by a number of ways, but also a way that we could hide that is simply recording a minute or two of room sound. So just a minute or two of room sound in the environment that our soldier here is in, that might eliminate that break in between the audio that we hear. All right. So now I'm going to show you an example of something that we really want to try to do, and that's more audio weaving. This audio weaving takes advantage of doing an L cut, right, where you see that video and then you hear that video, but the hearing, that audio track right here, goes underneath of and then fades down while we're seeing our subject. So let's take a look here and listen and see what that sounds like.
As a combat cameraman, I was deployed attached to Special.
So you can hear that B-roll continue right into, that just continues right underneath of our subject. Now watch what happens on the opposite end. You have here more audio, but this audio is attached to this clip right here. So now the audio leads into right underneath of our subject here and right into the next B-roll clip. Let's take a listen.
Combat cameraman, I was deployed attached to Special Operations Joint Task Force. For them, I would embed with units and film what was happening on the battlefield. I would help out with other things like taking...
You can even extend this on to other B-roll clips. So here is my next B-roll clip, and here's the audio that goes with it. You can see that it's coming ahead of the next clip.
Units and film what was happening on the battlefield. I would help out with other things like
you can basically hear them talking and then seeing the next one come under, right? So here's this audio, or this audio that goes with this particular clip, but we're hearing underneath of it some B-roll audio from this particular clip that's in front of it. So ready, here we go. Let's take a listen.
The big thing was combat. I was fortunate and I was attached to Green Berets and Rangers. For them, I got to go out with them, go on target, help.
So now this is where we start talking about the proper levels for each of our tracks, right? Our dialogue track should be between -6 and -12 dB, right? Maybe even peaking just a little bit higher than that, but really not much. We don't want to go above that for broadcast standards. So normally you want it right at -6, -12 dB, peaking at around -6. So your B-roll, we don't want that exceeding that -12. We want that somewhere between -15 dB, -24 dB, and sometimes a little bit lower, depending on what the subject is saying and depending on where their voice is dropping low or lower than where it should be, right? Here on this on audio 3, or this audio 3 track down here, below, sitting below and underneath of our B-roll and the B-roll sound that goes with each portion of B-roll, this is where our room tone is. And our room tone is primarily used to hide little mistakes and cuts in our edits. And that'll help us, particularly if the subject we're interviewing, maybe there's a little bit of a hum behind them, or maybe there's some room sound that's echoing just a little bit, and we want to get rid of that room sound and replace it with a nice normal room tone. And that room tone is going to hide, like I said, it's going to hide those little pops and edits and help us blend the audio better together from one soundbite into the next soundbite. And of course, below that we have our music. I usually keep that around track 4 or channel 4 down here. And what you want to do with the music is you want to keep that around negative 27 dB and below, right? Like maybe 39, maybe 36. You want to keep that below your level of your natural sound so that it all seems to weave and be flow together. The music is important for these short packages because it adds a little depth and adds a little bit of rolling depth to what you're doing, and adds a little bit of emotion too. So, music can set the tone of a piece, it can add emotion to a piece, and it's okay to change music in between a short piece too. You just got to do that right audio weaving, fading one up, fading one down, and bringing them all together into one place, one cohesive piece.